Why do 80% of people freeze when confronted with danger? It's a natural response, a primal instinct that dates back to our earliest ancestors. When faced with a life-threatening situation, the body can go into a state of shock, making it difficult to move or react. This phenomenon is known as the freeze response, and it can be just as powerful as the fight or flight response. But what happens when freezing isn't an option, and you must act to save your life? Let's dive into 3 bone-chilling stories of real-life murderer encounters. These tales are not for the faint of heart, as they reveal the terrifying moments when ordinary people came face to face with pure evil. Our first story takes place on a foggy night in a remote town, the kind of night where the mist hangs heavy in the air and every shadow seems to hide a lurking danger. Lisa was walking home after a late shift at work. The streets were eerily quiet, and the only sound was the echo of her footsteps. She noticed a shadowy figure trailing her. At first she thought it might be her imagination, but as she glanced over her shoulder, the figure was unmistakably there, following her every move. She quickened her pace, but the footsteps behind her grew louder, matching her speed. Panic set in, and her heart raced as she tried to think of a way to escape. The fear was palpable, and she could feel the presence getting closer with each passing second. Heart pounding, she ducked into an alley, hoping to lose him. The narrow passageway was dark and foreboding, but it was her only chance. Just as she thought she was safe, she allowed herself a moment of relief. But that relief was short-lived. A hand grabbed her shoulder. The grip was strong and unyielding, sending a jolt of terror through her body. It was the notorious local murderer, a man whose face had been plastered all over the news for weeks. His eyes were cold and devoid of any humanity. But somehow, she managed to escape. With a burst of adrenaline, she broke free from his grasp and ran as fast as she could, not daring to look back. Lisa's quick thinking saved her life that night. She later learned that the murderer had been caught, but the memory of that night still haunts her. Next we have Mike, a college student who loved camping. He often sought solace in the great outdoors, finding peace in the solitude of nature. One weekend, he set up his tent deep in the woods. The forest was dense, and the only light came from the stars above. In the dead of night, he heard rustling outside. The sound was faint at first, but it grew louder, more insistent. Thinking it was an animal, he tried to ignore it, but curiosity got the better of him. He unzipped his tent to find a man with a knife. The sight was surreal, like something out of a nightmare. Mike's scream startled the man, causing him to hesitate for just a moment, giving him a split second to run. He bolted through the forest, branches scratching at his face and arms as he fled for his life. He later found out the man was a dangerous fugitive, wanted for multiple murders. The realization sent chills down his spine. Our last story involves Clara, who was babysitting in a quiet neighborhood. The house was cozy and the children were fast asleep upstairs. Late at night, a stranger knocked on the door, the sound echoing through the silent house, claiming his car broke down. He asked to use the phone, his voice calm but insistent. Feeling uneasy, she refused to let him in. Something about his demeanor set off alarm bells in her mind. The next morning, she saw his face on the news. He was a serial killer who had been terrorizing the area for months. Clara's gut instinct saved both her and the children. She couldn't help but think about what might have happened if she had let him in. These stories remind us, trust your instincts and always stay vigilant. In a world where danger can lurk around any corner, it's crucial to be aware of your surroundings and listen to that inner voice that warns you of potential threats. You never know when you might encounter true horror. Stay safe, stay alert, and always trust your instincts.